So to start off with the saya tutorials, we're going to start with the piece known as the Koiguchi. Essentially it's the counterpart to the habaki, and that it captures the habaki to keep the blade from rattling around inside the saya. And it also served to protect the top of the saya from splintering out, or basically the grain of the wood splitting or anything like that from constant, from the amount of use that it would have gotten from sheathing and unsheathing the sword. Now ours is going to be a little bit different because of the way we're making our entire saya. Traditional saya were made to, they were chiseled out and carved out to match the blade all the way down. So they would have a shape similar to this all the way down, as this cutout, all the way throughout. And because we're going to be using what I call a box method, very similar to how we made our ska, this is actually going to serve for us as a way of capturing our habaki as well, but also to kind of disguise the fact that we've cheated a little bit in making our prop. And what this will do is this will just save you a lot of work, basically, rather than trying to make the saya fit all the way down the entire length of the blade. And this also, like I said, so this will free up some of your time, and it will still look good because you've got this piece on top. So it's a very simple piece to start off with. All you need really is your habaki first. And all we've done is we just take the bottom of it here, or the top, and we put it on our piece of scrap wood. I'm sure you've got lots of little pieces like this just lying around. Just make sure you have a good amount of wood on both sides, as you can see here, because you're going to be getting close to, you're going to be wider than the cutout itself, so just make sure you leave a little bit extra room for error. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to trace around the outside of it. And then we actually have to cut it out, of course, and cut that out, and then just make sure that your habaki will actually just slide through it, like so. Okay, so when it's sheathed, your habaki is just going to sit inside the space like that. So you want it to be fairly tight, but you're going to be wanting to follow the rules as laid out in the fits and finishes video, where it's essentially you want it to slide easily, you don't want it to rub anywhere, but you don't want it to be rattling around in there at all either. So this is maybe a little bit too loose of a hole, but once it's, it does slide through fairly easily. Then once we have this piece, you're just going to, you would just cut this whole piece out, and you're going to want 4 of them because your habaki is roughly an inch tall, and you've got 4 pieces of 1/4 inch wood, so that will recess fully into your space. So once you have your 4 pieces cut out, you just glue them together and use your habaki as a guide so that you can make sure that they're all going to align properly, and you can always touch it up with sandpaper or whatever if you need to. So you can see it just fits in nicely, just kind of sits there, and doesn't come out the bottom. And that's important because this habaki that you've made will not fit into the box portion of your saya. So you just need to make sure that if you made your habaki a little bit longer than an inch tall, you just need to make sure that you have enough pieces of wood stacked up in your Koiguchi so that this will be completely inside your Koiguchi piece and won't go past it. And that'll make more sense when we get to the next part. So you've got to this point. Next thing you need to know is where you're going to eventually cut it out. Now we're not going to wind up cutting this out quite yet, we're just going to draw the outline, and we're going to cut it all out once we attach it to our box portion. And that's because you don't want to cut this too close to the line somehow and then have it not line up with your box portion, and then you'll have to make up some wood there somewhere. So basically just leave it rough like this. Just make it, you can cut off the corners so it's not just jagged pieces sticking out, but just make sure that fits in nicely like that, that it doesn't go further than your Koiguchi depth. And then to draw this outline, all you have to do is just take your katana, put one of your seppa on, and then just slide your Koiguchi on your habaki, and then just mark around your saya, or your seppa, excuse me. Mark around your seppa. And what this will do is this will ensure that you've got that same oval shaped profile all the way from your handle or your ska all the way throughout your saya. So you're going to have this kind of a teardrop shape that'll match your seppa, and it will go all the way up and down. So you have this nice profile all the way up and down your katana. And that'll just make it look really nice. So that pretty much covers it for the Koiguchi. The next part we're going to work on is just the building the box around the rest of your blade and how do you cut that out. But I hope this answers how to make your Koiguchi. And like I said, it's fairly easy. All you gotta do is cut out your pieces, glue them together. Just make sure they fit really nicely with your habaki, and then trim it up. But do not cut close to this line yet. And like I said, that'll make more sense after the next video.